Alright, so I thought I might actually do something productive this next video instead of making other things. Let's talk Team Fortress 2. Released in October 2007 by Valve Entertainment, then grew to become a first-person shooter that was unique, free to play, and created one of the most supporting gaming communities of all time. I want to talk about the end of all of it. Before you start writing, I want to cement the fact that Team Fortress 2 is not dead. I've probably heard this from every other video concerning this topic. TF2 has an extremely active fan base, with very little, granted, but not non-existent support from Valve. There are countless workshop items, potential updates, and much more the like being suggested by the community. Thousands of people still play TF2 every day, and while I've personally taken breaks and been playing other games, others still play this game consistently. And while this is all true, Team Fortress 2, in my opinion, is certainly going down the mountain. Remember in 2014 when TF2 hit over 100,000 players? In my opinion, this was the pinnacle of Team Fortress 2, and it's all going downhill from here. I think it's extremely unlikely that TF2 will reach this amount of players again. Now, there are the Jungle and Pyro updates, and certain something's birthday in October, and these events will likely see sharp player rises. A lot of veteran players coming back to the game. And yes, there are plenty of new players also coming to the game, but I think that the numbers will still likely decrease, as the veteran players trying out these new updates will likely just get bored again. Speaking of veteran players, a lot of them are leaving the game for good. While I think that forcing yourself to never play TF2 again is a stupid concept, people do still do it. These departures, I've noticed, are causing a chain reaction, causing other beloved players to leave the game as well. I suppose it's also worth mentioning that there are many players that tend to be toxic to new players, which can drive them away to other FPS games, reducing the growth of the player base. New class-based shooters are also booming on the market, such as The Unspoken Menace and John Mulaney's Comedy Routine. These new games are shinier and more polished than TF2's late 2000s style, which not only draws veteran TF2 players to try it, but also players who are new to the class-based shooter genre in general. An elephant in the room is also the TF2 team themselves. They make it seem like they do their best work, putting tons of effort into this game. And honestly, I believe them. I think that the TF team, despite being tinier than my sub count, do the best they can in terms of the work they put into this game. But the problem is just that, the size of the team. As stated by them themselves, the team has under 20 people, 4 to 6 of them being programmers. Now, assuming that the team doesn't decide to give the community the game, TF2 will and has certainly seen many content droughts, such as the one we're experiencing as of now. There are all these reasons why TF2 is certainly declining, and it is, but it won't see its last day within the foreseeable future. As I said, TF2 has a really strong fan base, and the upcoming updates will certainly increase the lifespan of the game for years, and possibly decades to come, considering the dedication the community has had these past few content droughts. The thing I want you to remember is that when TF2 does eventually die, learn to accept it. There are plenty of games that used to have lively and amazing communities that died out eventually to a player base equivalent of the attendance of an elementary school book fair. Team Fortress 2 will eventually become this. It happens to every game. The problem I foresee is the undetachable players of the game. By the time TF2 pulls Jack Dawson, so many amazing games would have arisen. Assuming Valve keeps the team the size they are and doesn't hand it off to the community, it's simply impossible for the game to manage itself. Some people don't want to accept that the game will die and won't accept it when it does. There's some people that even play the game despite it feeling like a chore to play. I did this myself back a couple years ago, but I stopped it by playing other games. Just remember, the point of video games is to have fun. It shouldn't feel like a chore to play a game, it should feel exciting and stress relieving. If you get tired of it, go to another game, take a break. Basically, my point here is that players will try to keep this game alive at the expense of their own entertainment, which is not healthy. Team Fortress 2 will die eventually, just as any other game will. If it makes you feel better, think about when Paladins will die. It's important to accept this fact about video games, and learn to move on. I know it's kinda hard with that unusual strange collector's edition vintage professional killstreak Righteous Bison. Hey, sell it on the Steam market. Maybe that money can go to future games you'll play. In short, just know that Team Fortress 2 is a great game, and will certainly last for a few more years or even decades to come, but it will die. Team Fortress 2 is a grandfather of the FPS genre, and has certainly run its course and left its impact. Get all the fun you can out of it, and be ready to say goodbye to an old friend. See you later.